Are you still there?
Bro, I kind of wish
Can I say
Yeah.
one thing
Mr. I
What?
would kind of wish Mr. Behavior was in this
with
chat
the
so I
whole
could
like hero hey
speak with him about certain things. Because I
behavior
was
is
in a
legit, man.
yeah, he's cool, but like, I was in a chat, but like I couldn't really speak with him because I was in a voice chat. It was just
Hang
me
out with the
typing and he
smart people
speaking, so
like
I couldn't
him,
get
man.
my
You'll learn a thing or two.
yeah, I couldn't really get my thoughts about it because one thing we're
So,
really like
anyways,
we disagree about is the whole Smash situation.
Yeah,
You
it's
know,
just
regarding with what Nintendo did to Melee, and I
yeah,
think Black Sage has the same opinion as him, which was along the lines of because it's Nintendo's property, they had every right to do it and they should have did it or something like that, and the
yeah.
players should just move on from Melee or something like that.
No, yeah, and that's the problem. I notice a lot of people like I just kept getting YouTube videos about it, like nonstop about, oh, Nintendo shouldn't be screwing me over with my precious games. It's like I'm looking at you like, who the hell you think you are? You're
you're
just some
breaking
guy
up,
on the
dude.
internet. Wait, I am. Oh, let me give me a second. Am I
Continue now.
okay? What I'm trying to say, who the hell you think you are? You're just some random nobody. You think you're all that. And like I see all these
I
Twitch
mean, like, what are you talking about though? Like, are you talking about the people who said that they disagree with it?
What do you
no the
hold on? What you
whole
talking about? The
I'm talking
fucking
about the
pedal.
situation where it's like
the situation. Yeah, I was
Nintendo
talking about the
shutting
situation.
down the Melee tournament because
Yeah,
they were using Slippy and they didn't like that,
yeah,
so
I
they
was
shut
talking
it
about
down.
that. I was talking about that.
So I mean, like, what are you saying? Are you saying like? No, I'm not talking to Black Sage. Like, who's talking right now? Which one?
Sleepy, Mr.
Sleepy.
Sleepy,
Yeah,
and
me.
myself, but Mr. Sleepy.
Oh, Mr. Slippy. I mean Sleepy
So
or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
like,
just call me Sleepy.
so like, what are you trying to get at?
What I'm trying to say is this: I understand the anger and concerns that people felt, and I get that. However, realistically, I wanted for Nintendo instead of improving Melee,
Uh-huh.
just improve your current game. Cause let's be honest, have you guys played Smash, right?
I
Or
haven't
any
played
Yes.
Smash
competitive
in a
Well,
game?
very
yeah.
long time.
Or I play Smash for fun. I haven't played
That
in months.
here's
So
the yeah here's the thing. Like I don't know why people are trying to update the net code and make everything online and do all this fancy stuff with Smash Brothers. That joint is a 20-year-old game, bro. It's like move the
Yeah.
fuck
let it
on.
go. Let
Well,
it
Let it
Street
go,
Fighter
go.
2 is
40-year-old,
even older than that
45-year-old
game, and
man.
people
And
still
talk to
play
those
that
guys who
competitively.
say, man, we must play the game, make the game like Melee. BS. Stop it, dude.
No,
Exactly.
Well,
You
Just
need to
and
stop.
here's
well, the Melee players know
okay,
Nintendo's not going to make a game like that for them, but
okay.
they still like the game and they just choose to play that. They're not like begging
Hear
for
me out.
Nintendo to make a game like Melee. They're just begging for
Yeah.
the right to play the game. Like
Here's the
they
thing.
at this point they don't
Let
even
it
want
go.
support anymore. They know they're not going to get support. They
Yeah.
just want to basically be
Yeah.
well,
left alone at this
just why
point.
not just play
Yeah.
Ultimate? That's the thing. They have
Exactly.
Ultimate's
because
better.
because saying just play Ultimate is like saying, oh, why are you playing Street Fighter 2? Just play Street Fighter 5. They're two completely
Exactly.
different games with different like gameplay styles. It's not like
Yeah.
one's objectively better than the other. Like it's all
Yeah.
about personal preference. Like
Yeah.
yes.
there's like a legitimate reason to play one over the other. They're both
No,
one's not objectively better than the other. I like both. But in terms of
but
which one I prefer
okay.
to watch competitively, I prefer to watch competitive Melee because it looks more exciting to me.
Why? But hear me out on this one.
Smash competitive Smash to me is boring as
Yeah.
hell.
It
Both
Hear
is.
me
all of
on.
it.
Yeah. Hear me out on
If you
this
want to
one.
see competitive games, go watch fighting games like the Japanese side. They're
Uh,
dope.
Why? Okay.
I like both.
Uh,
Yeah.
what's his name? God damn it. I keep forgetting your name.
Omega,
Fibra,
Aiden.
I'm Fibra.
I'm just
Fibra.
gonna call you Ball. I'm just gonna call you Ball.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right.
All right, bro.
hear me out on this one.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what I'm trying to say is this. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily saying they shouldn't. They should. Yes, they should leave them alone. But at the same time, I'm just gonna say this. How
Mm-hmm.
about we put that energy, so that same energy, and tell them,
Yeah.
hey, improve your current game that's
I
on
mean,
Switch
I
nowadays.
don't disagree with you 100% on that. I think it's
Yeah,
because, like I
because
said,
I feel like
Ultimate's Online is really
yeah,
atrocious. It is god
Yeah.
awful. Even if it doesn't seem like it's
because
lagging, the input lag is really noticeable
yeah,
to the
Right.
point where it like ruins the experience.
Even
That's why I
even
don't really play it that much.
even when you like put a direct Wi-Fi, like even when you like hard line the console, it's still kind of wonky.
Yeah, and
I feel
I,
Yeah.
like
I do play Wi-Fi, but that's because I'm not paying $30 to be able to connect an Ethernet port.
I mean, you
Like,
can
that's ridiculous.
you
That
can
shit should have been built into the console.
right, but at least you can well, you don't have to pay $30. You can pay like
Anyone?
Less amount
What?
than that?
No, I'm talking about like the $30 is for the Ethernet adapter.
Well, you can you can just buy any old Ethernet adapter for like $10 or something. But still, it's like
funny,
it should have been. You're right. It should have been like built into the
They
system.
could. Hell, they should have just give you a coupon or something like that.
Right.
Oh, dude, fuck,
From
I
the
said
internet
coupon.
cables and whatnot. That's how I've been playing my fighting games, is through wired connection, not through Wi-Fi, because it makes a huge difference. Don't play fighting games on Wi-Fi, man. You get those dips, and
But
it can
even I heard
tell.
even with the Wi-Fi,
So, can
even
I
if you
add
have a hard line,
something
it doesn't
here?
make that big of a difference.
Oh yeah. No, and nobody's not. I mean, against you, and that's the thing.
Yeah,
I feel
Nintendo's
like
netcode
it's.
sucks, but
But at this point, I mean, it's clear obvious they don't want to do it, and at this point, it's like, I mean, it's their loss, not mine. I'm not. I mean, I understand people be. I probably piss off some Smash people by saying it, but it's like
2 cents
it's really
is.
their loss.
Anyone?
It's their loss. It's like you can't really force a what's what I look for. You can't force an unmovable odds like Nintendo to. I mean, we can get angry at them all we want. We can talk about hashtag free what
Melee, some
Melee
It's
is
Smash,
some
like
cringe
whatever.
shit like that.
Let it
I'll continue
go.
to talk about it, but I'll be right back. I just gotta go to the bathroom real quick.
Yeah. Can I add my 2 cents on this real quick?
Go ahead.
Let me just say I don't give a crap about this whole free Smash or free whatever thing, because
yeah.
I already made a video about it long ago. You can watch it on my channel called Smash. The Smash fandom sucks and whatnot. It shows my
Yeah.
current opinions on Smash as a whole. It's a party game. Get over it. You play it with your friends and family, and its fandom is terrible, and it needs to move on.
Damn.
There's better fighting
damn
games
fake.
out there than Smash.
Exactly. Even then, it's like the entire reason why Smash Brothers was even created is because Sakurai felt guilty of bodying niggas in the arcade with Final Fight, so he had to make a fighting game that was easy for people to play, so that nobody would feel bad about them.
Yeah,
Exactly.
normies. Instead of adding like original characters, they added like Nintendo characters. So
I mean, it was supposed to be like an original fighting game, but they just added Nintendo characters for placeholders.
placeholders, but he decided to like it to the point is, hey, let's make it. I'll stick with this. So, bam, Smash
mean,
was born.
The irony though, the
And-
funny
Okay,
irony.
I was actually listening to what all you guys were saying. I was just on mute, because I
Oh,
didn't want
yeah.
to hear you. Okay, but I have a lot of things to say, and
Go
this
ahead.
is just my opinion. You guys can come get away from this and still hold your beliefs. I just want to get my thoughts out there.
Going right on ahead, dog.
Yeah.
What? Okay, what do you guys make a fighting game? Like, what do you think a fighting game is?
Okay,
Well,
can I raise my hand?
Like-
Like
Sure.
good gameplay mechanics, awesome character design, OST, but gameplay mechanics. Like look at King of Fighters from '97 and beyond. Look how complex it is at first, but when you look at it, there's your hops, there's your dodge roll, there's your 3-on-3 mechanic.
Well,
I'm just using that for an example because that's like one of the pinnacles of fighting games is King of Fighters. Say what you want about that, but let me
Yeah.
go to a simpler concept. Samurai Showdown 2.
Mhm.
Instead of like being based on combos, your characters have weapons. So by the game determines by footsies. So you have to measure by and time your strikes. Your light strike is like to take a bit slither, but if you take a heavy hit and your opponent blocks it, you become stunned. Your opponent can have a counter attack after he blocks your attack
Right.
and takes a lot of damage.
But those,
So
if I'm not mistaken, like Samurai Showdown is like game. It's based more off. It's not based off of like combos, like not as much combos, but it's more like reading your opponent's moves because every move counts more because it does like
Yes.
more damage than other fighting games, right?
Yes. And with Smash, here is knock your opponent off the wing when it reaches a certain percentage. Like each
Right.
fighting game has different mechanics.
right.
Yes.
Yes, I added
And I would
Smash
say,
into the-
let me add something. I know obviously this game I'm going to mention is going to be shown at Evo anytime. But what else would you call this game I'm going to mention? Budokai Tenkaichi 3, for instance.
It's an
that-
arena fighter game. It's
an
arena fighter.
It's not
But
even.
the thing is, you still have to, even if it's not something that's as technical or is like based around much of skill and it's more casual, you still call it a fighting game, right? You wouldn't
Yes, it has a health
call it a
bar.
party game.
It's
Quick
kind of
question,
different.
though.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, but
an
the
arena
thing is, the whole
fighter. but
party game thing, it's not even that much of a set genre. Like, the only thing you can really call a party game is Mario Party,
DDR.
because that's party in the title. But aside from that,
DDR,
what would you call a party game?
CDR, Guitar Hero, Smash.
No, but with Guitar Hero, like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That just proved right there, like, what considers a fighting game. Because Guitar Hero plays fundamentally way different than, like
I was
Mario
talking
Party
about
or
party
something.
games, not
And on top
fighting
of that,
games.
Guitar Hero has, like, a lot of skill involved.
Right. Yeah.
Because the whole
Well,
thing about party games is a lot of people, they associate it with casual play, and it's a lot of luck involved as
Yeah.
well when they think of like Mario Party. But like Guitar Hero is pure skill.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it does. It's like
that's not
Guitar
an easy
Hero
game
is,
to get
though.
into.
See, I mean, another good example of a game I could think of, I mean, when it comes to fighting, is Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive or Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Dead or yeah, Dead or Alive. Yeah, like it's definitely a game that I can say that at least has good level design.
What?
Good character designs. Let me
I
just
mean,
say that.
yeah.
Yes, I like the women in it. Let's just get that out of the way.
I mean, the reason why I mention it because I do like the interesting mechanic where you fall. Like if you knock your enemy down to the ground, they'll literally they lose some of their health. Not a lot, but and I forgot there was another game I mentioned in my head. Soul Calibur. Like
Yeah,
when
Soul
you got
Calibur.
yeah. And I think that's the thing. I feel like it's kind of weird that not many games like that. Because I know there's Mortal Kombat. I mean, Mortal Kombat is the game with the fatalities and the all the various modes and stuff like that. But
So
my
like,
point, what I'm trying to say, yeah. Go ahead.
so like, my whole issue with the whole Smash Brothers thing. Smash Brothers is not to be taken seriously, but somehow it still is by tryhard teenagers. But also,
So like, why do you think that is though? I think the gameplay is very different. I'm not going to deny that the gameplay is fundamentally different than most like traditional fighters, but like there's still skill that has to be involved. Like there's like unique experiences. The whole like edge guarding phase of Smash Brothers. That's something that's completely unique to that game and platform fighters. That isn't like experienced with other fighters. And it's just trying like when you're like off the stage, right?
Well, can I finish?
And you're trying to like get back on, right? And like you got the opponent right there, like. It's like a big mind game. It's like, oh, how do I like get back on the stage without getting hit off when I'm like at 99%? I'm about to die. Like that takes skill. That takes like reading what your opponent's going to do and things like that. Like that's not just brain dead stuff where you're just like mashing buttons and shit. Like it takes like precision. It takes thinking, like mind games and all the things that other fighting games like.
Well, here's the thing with Smash Brothers. Well, here's the thing with Smash Brothers is like. The main reason why it appeals to like these tryhard teenagers is mostly because it has a lot of cartoon characters in it. Let's be real.
Nintendo characters, that's what it is.
Right, a lot of cartoony characters in it, and you have a lot of kids who really don't have an identity outside of, like I said before, like an identity outside the media.
That's really reaching, though. I think you're really reaching with that.
But no. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Let me finish. It's also the fact that the Smash Brother community is mostly consists of a bunch of very antisocial people who probably don't really have a lot. And this is not really an insult, but it consists of a lot of antisocial people who probably really do not have a combined community together. They really don't have a sense of community in their own lives. So they build an entire base around that.
You can literally apply what you just said to any FGC player ever, or gaming community in general. Like I don't really think that's a legitimate criticism against Smash. I mean, you could like that's how a lot of people get into gaming. They get into gaming because they want to connect Like they don't like have something that they can
Right,
latch onto,
but here's the
and they
thing that
find this medium that other people like, and they form a community. That's not a criticism.
but
Like
no,
if anything, that's a strength to the game
but here's the thing
that brings people together. That's not a criticism.
here's the thing that sets the Smash Brothers community away from the rest of the
Fighting game
fighting game community. It's just the fact that when they try to let's say where there's like a major announcement, like Nintendo said, "Oh, we got a major announcement going on." They're the first ones to appear on Nintendo's feed saying, "Oh my God, it's a new Smash Brothers! Oh my God, it's a new Smash Brothers character being announced! Oh my God, it's a major Smash Brothers announcement!" It's like, bro. First of all, y'all don't even know what the announcement is. It's like every Nintendo Direct being announced, these niggas are
It's
always talking
Smash.
about Smash, 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 Smash,
I mean, that just
Smash.
shows they're
Yeah.
passionate about it, and this
Yeah,
is a
but-
pretty
Passion,
big deal. I
but-
mean,
but-
Smash Bros. Ultimate has
Wait,
got like a
wait,
bunch of
wait.
crazy characters in it. Like
Right, but
Wait,
it's
we've got
like
characters we
wait,
never even thought,
hold on a
like
second, guys.
Joker,
Guys,
Steve.
can I interject for a second?
go
you know,
ahead.
Banjo Kazooie. I mean, the fact that we
Steve.
got Banjo Kazooie, that's enough reason for people to be like very
Steve.
excited for another
Wait,
reveal, because it could be
guys,
another
Steve.
crazy character.
can
I
I
mean,
interject?
that's
Can I say
yeah,
something?
sure.
I think the reason why I get both your perspectives, cause like here's the thing. I'm trying to say this.
Mhm.
I think the thing is that Smash community is overstating its walker. It's slowly overstating its walker because let's be
Yeah.
truthfully honest here for a second, okay?
Mhm.
We heard about the infamous controversy with the whole
Sexual assault
certain
thing.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can see why Nintendo didn't really want to do this because
And it's a
incidents
right.
like that happen,
Mhm.
and it's like what happened? How are they gonna prevent stuff like that going on? How are they gonna? And I'm not, and I understand this sounds like a straw man. Take it, leave it, whatever.
Mhm.
How you supposed to feel about it? But I'm simply saying is this. At this point, I mean, right now, I feel like it's a bit too early to judge. I mean, judge what is going on when it comes to Nintendo nowadays, and that's what I'm trying to say. I get it. I get it that Nintendo should improve, and honestly, they shouldn't be screwing over the consumers like that. Like, for fuck's sakes, man, like, stop.
I want Nintendo
But
to. I want Nintendo to actually, improve their online. That's one of the biggest
yeah,
criticisms that people have been having for like 10
not
years
just
now. It's like
online,
improve your
not just online,
online. Just at least
improve
make
your
it based like
console.
Xbox Live 360 era, at least.
Yeah.
Hell, I mean,
It's been
it's
3
already
console
better.
generations, and it's still not
Or really.
to standard.
Yeah, and
No,
the
it's
sad
3. Wii.
yeah.
Actually, if you want to count the Wii U, I guess.
No, the
Uh,
the GameCube had
Ooh.
online.
no, it didn't.
It
Yes,
did.
Well, no, I don't remember it ever having online. I remember even watching a video about the GameCube. They said they were going to add it, but they just
No, they
didn't
did.
add it.
No, they had an online adapter, but it's the fact that they only had a very few amount of games supporting it. They had Mario Kart, Double Dash, and I think Fantasy Star Online that was on GameCube.
I honestly don't know why it's so hard for them to get this shit together. Like,
Yeah,
it's
Let me tell you.
it's
Can I add one
ridiculous.
thing? Let me add that because basically Nintendo is an old-fashioned company. They still think Japan is their primary audience. I don't
which
blame them
which
because
I
they're
don't
a
blame them.
Japanese company.
They're the most
And
profitable
in
Japanese
order,
company
and
out
they
there.
don't seem Wi-Fi and rollback net code as a liability as an importance because in the modern days, net code makes or break games.
Yeah.
Simple as
Yes.
It
that.
does.
And then they have to also worry about anti-cheat, because like right now with the whole Smash community, not Smash, but
It's a mess.
not Smash community, but what was that community?
It's
It was a certain
Skull
game.
Ghost community. It's a
Splatoon.
mess.
Yeah, it's Splatoon.
Splatoon. It's a
Yeah, because a lot
mess.
of people was like, a lot of people, including myself, was like, how the hell you let people be cheating your own game? You have no form of anti-cheat.
Right.
Wait, how? So are you saying people are cheating like on a Switch game or whatever?
Yeah, it's like I think it was like a
Which
couple years
game?
ago, like Splatoon 2. The second game of Splatoon.
All
Yeah,
right.
I
Yeah,
played Splatoon, so I didn't know people was cheating on it.
there was a issue like people want, like hackers want people to implement a form or system to ban people who are cheating.
You know, you're breaking up,
Like, well,
Sleepy.
again,
No, you're not breaking up. You're fine.
oh
Well, for me, I didn't hear him break up.
no, yeah, but it's just been like, honestly, personally speaking, if anything, I feel like they should improve the performance of the console because like
Can you speak a little clearly because we can't seem to hear you?
I can hear
I
him
can hear him.
perfectly.
I can
It
hear him.
must be on your
It
end.
must be on you. Must be you.
Connection, or it's just like he's this.
Yeah, it's mostly you, Omega, because I can hear him.
I
perfectly.
heard you just
Because
cut
it
off
keeps breaking
Omega.
up. What?
I just heard you break
Just.
up.
Oh, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I'm trying to associate with this with when Nintendo nowadays, like after they give us a Switch poll, whatever, please for love of God improve your online.
Yeah.
Like
Nintendo has said that they want to tell developers to make their games 4K ready. So it looks like they
Yeah.
are improving on the hardware aspect of it, but I want them to completely revamp that online system. If anything, please do.
Yeah.
No, hire some people, hire some more people, like hire some people who know how to, do their infrastructure, because it's like the average consumer, they they're not trying to be bothered with this shit. Like, this is worse than PS3 level online. Like, this is what when it comes to PS3 online.
Yeah.
The only difference is that you don't have to worry about hacking. Oh god, I probably pissed off a lot of PlayStation fans by seeing it.
And you know what the biggest missed opportunity is with Nintendo? They still have
Virtual
not
console?
well, that too, but they still have not, and this is probably one of their biggest cardinal sins. They have not put in that Wii eShop music thing. That is an absolute classic. I want it back, Nintendo. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean, that was
Nintendo's
really
Wii
random.
Shop is
I
like.
love the Wii Shop thing, but I don't think they should reuse an old thing. Just
Yeah.
make a new one.
Well, no, because
No,
people
that's
that's a
cut
classic.
point.
That's a certified classic. It's like Nintendo's
Yeah, but I
all
mean,
about being the
you can't
classic.
keep reusing the same theme for every console. Like
Well,
that
why
for a
not?
specific console. I love that theme, but you come up with a new one. You can't keep using the same thing over and
Well,
over
how about
again.
having a different remix for a different season? How about that? Like
How about this? Let's make a compromise. We have a new default theme, but if you want, you can select the Wii theme if you want. As
I
an
don't
option.
know how in
For
the
like
world that's gonna-
$5.99.
Well, I don't know
there
how
we
that's
go.
gonna.
$5.99 if you really want to listen to that Wii music.
Well, I don't know how that's gonna work, but you know the Wii U eShop that does have a different it does have a different theme every month or every season.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Are you talking about for Wii U or Wii?
Yeah,
'Cause
the Wii U,
is
the Wii U, and the Wii U and the 3DS.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all have a different theme every season.
Yeah.
So, bottom line with the Nintendo Smash Brothers situation is like,
I'm going to think. I think a lot of what you're feeling. Maybe this is how you've always thought. So I don't want to like assume, but I think a lot of it is just misplaced, anger
It's
and
misplaced
disgust towards
passion.
a lot of the players with the recent scandal.
Well,
I just feel like that.
I don't
that's
think
where it's
Nintendo
coming
is
from.
malicious with their actions. I just think that they're just trying to do whatever they can
to-
to save their ass, to save their business. They don't want to
Save
be
their business, but here's the thing: how was this tournament, which was not even going to have that many people watching, I think, like how was that going to affect their business? This wasn't
Well,
affecting
they
their
don't. They
bottom
don't.
line
They,
at all
they
because
don't.
this
They,
game they were playing was an old game released almost 20 years ago that they're not releasing this like on their current consoles.
it's
The
just
only
that
way you can
they don't
purchase
want
the
to
game
be.
legally is to buy it
Well, they don't
used
want to be
or buy
associated
it like
with that.
sealed up on eBay or something.
But
Like they're not making any money from
They
this.
don't want to be
So there's
they
no
don't
money
want
to be
their
lost.
they don't want their name to be associated with
With the people involved.
right.
But
That's
people have
important.
moved
Basically,
on from
it's
that.
a Japanese.
But it doesn't matter.
culture thing.
But that is it's a Japanese culture. They just don't want to be
Japanese
associated
culture
with
thing. If you wonder if you're involved with someone who's bad, and that person has a reputation, and you want to do business with them, and all these people around your circles like saying you should not do this with them, and then if you ignore them and you do business with this guy, you know what happens to the crowd around you? They start to distance themselves away from you because why?
And who's that crowd that they're trying? Like, I know what you're talking about. They don't want to be associated with the negative publicity, but how is this going to affect them still? Like, how did I?
Well,
How
that's
they
Dude,
gonna
you
make
don't,
that money?
that's the
understand,
business
bro.
world. That's the business world. That's just
Because
that's just pure
basically-
business.
Because basically you don't want any bad publicity. If you have bad publicity, it's going to affect your bottom line because no one's not going to
Because then-
buy from you.
Not only that, it's also gonna negatively.
Do you know
affect
about the manga Rurouni Kenshin, right?
Yes,
know all
and
about
people
that.
stopped reading that, supporting that series in the West completely. It died in the West, and
Well,
it still continued in Japan due to like different reasons how they deal with that sort of stuff.
Wait. So can I interject for a second?
go ahead.
Still support it if I can.
Okay. I think the reason why is not only because of business, it's more so it's because of this. If they start letting random people, like, random people start, hey, playing their games without paying for it, like, yes, they could let it get away, but then that problem lies into trademark. You own a business before, right? I hope you know, like, how. So, should I go around claiming I'm whatever your business name, right? Make it, I call me under your business name, and you have no knowledge of me whatsoever.
Computer's acting up.
Exactly. Let's just say your business is, Fuck Nigga Incorporated. It's like, and you use Fuck Nigga Incorporated to basically, um, just to basically use use Fuck Nigga Incorporated as a side promotional event, but you don't have their official permission to use the Fuck Nigga Incorporated name. So really you have to understand that it's all about optics. It's all about your business. It's all about looking good. It's clear, cold cut business. That's why Nintendo's also shutting down like these fan games. It's like they understand people have the passion for it, but at the same time, they don't want their name associated to anything bad. That's why they shut down all these.
On top of that, on another issue is also a problem that a lot of people don't want to hear is shareholders.
Right.
If a
Yep.
shareholder sees stuff like this, what they gonna say? Oh, we heard you had this new game. You didn't tell us. You didn't tell us you have this new
And
game.
unfortunately, these shareholders listen to these fake news media outlets.
Yeah, the scripters. Excuse me, guys. I have to go now. It's like 1 a.m. where I'm at.
All right, all
1:10
right,
a.m.
all right,
Same here.
Omega.
Thanks for chilling out with you guys. Like, I'm getting really sleepy right now. Really appreciate you inviting me on.
Yeah, I'm
Alright,
about, I'm
so this
about
is my
to
boy Omega 13 here. Can I advertise my channel before I go?
go
Or
right
should I
on
Sure.
do
ahead.
it?
Chill.
So basically, I am the guy that just plays games and streams. I have a podcast called the Omega 13th Dimension
And you,
Podcast where we talk about games and geek stuff, like anime and games, basically, without any corporate interference or any grifting. We don't do that on the podcast. I also do live streams as well on my PS4. And subscribe to the channel if you're not there yet. You don't regret it. It's like them doing the whole YouTube 2013 thing before it went bad. That's
right,
all to say for now. Peace out, people. Have fun.
right, Omega.
Yeah, I
And
see ya.
you can link your podcast in the chat if you want.
Oh boy, he just love.
Okay.
Oh,
Can I add something?
sure.
Go ahead.
I'm not. I think it could be a possibility that the controversy might have influenced it, but I don't think it was by that much because in 2013 there was no such controversy like this, and when
You didn't
the
hear about
Smash
it.
players during Evo 2013, they had an open slot for games, and the community who raised the largest amount of money for a donation towards cancer research, whoever raised the largest amount of money for that would be the game that would be allowed in. And the two top spots were Melee and Skullgirls, and Melee was able to beat it out. And so they raised like $94,000, over $94,000 for this organization, so they would have the ability to play at Evo 2013. And Nintendo, knowing this, still shut it down. And it wasn't until they received massive backlash because it just looked really bad on their part to
Yeah, but
shut these
but
people
you know how
down.
they didn't endorse it though. That's the thing. They didn't endorse Smash Brothers. They allowed it, but they didn't endorse it. But now since this sexual assault controversy came out, it's like they don't want nothing to do with the fighting game community at all. They don't want anything to do with esports really. They just don't. And that and you I know it sucks. I know it doesn't seem right, but that's business, man. I mean, they don't want to be associated with the fighting game community because of all the
But I'm
knuckleheads that.
saying, but that's how it was even before the controversy. I'm just saying, with that example, these people, this community were very passionate. They raised all this
Well,
money, and they were going to
at,
shut it down anyway because it was their right to do so. But
well,
that's what I'm saying. Just because someone has the right to do something, is it like the right thing to do? You know what I'm
it
saying?
doesn't. It
I'm
really.
not saying it's
Yeah.
not in
Wait.
the right to do it.
Well, it
That's
doesn't
what
matter how.
no one's arguing that
Yeah.
Nintendo has no right to do this. No one's
Right.
saying that. Everyone knows they have the power to do it. We're saying like why like it's not the good thing to do, why it's not a good thing to do,
Again, it's
and why
like,
the community doesn't like it. And they're trying to
Right.
plead with Nintendo. You know, they're
well,
not
that's the thing.
acting
It's like
entitled or anything.
Nintendo is a very old school company. You have to remember that. And also, it's like Nintendo is very reclusive in a lot of things. Like they don't play by the same rules that we do. So they don't play by the same rules that everybody else does. So of course they're gonna do things very differently. And it's just that it doesn't matter how passionate you are about certain thing. If Nintendo, like, they'll use you if it looks good to them. That's all they care about at the end of. None of these
Yeah, they're
corporations give
yeah.
a fuck about you or your passion. They just they only use you when it's beneficial to them. And when you're not beneficial to them, they'll drop you like a bad habit. And
Yeah, I'm,
and that's just the reality you're gonna
and
have to live
speaking like
with.
that, like when you put it that way, I don't disagree with you. I just don't like when some people like they're acting like they have some kind of stake in the company, like they're basically kind of like bootlickers, like oh Nintendo has the right to do it, so they should just do it because they
Well,
can. Like I don't
it's
like
not
that kind
being
of
it's
attitude. It's
not
kind of like let me put it in the in an
Yeah.
allegory for you guys to
right.
understand. It's like imagine you're like the big brother, right? And you got a little brother, and you got this Game Boy DS. It doesn't matter what it is. It's you got some portable console in your hands. You haven't used it in over a year. You don't plan on using it anytime soon. And
Right.
you own this console. You bought it with your own money. And then your little brother just walks in your room and he decides to pick it up because he's like, oh, he's not using this, and he decides to play it and he's enjoying it. And you just decide to take it from him because you know, oh, it's mine, and I'm just not gonna let you have it. It's like yes, you have the right to do it, but is that a good thing you should do? Like personally, I'd say no. Like if you're not going to use it, like why take it from someone who's enjoying it? That's how I feel. Nintendo's not using Melee. They're not selling it officially, and it's not
Oh,
Yeah,
available
but
out
it's
for
but you have to
people, and
but you
it's
have to
not affecting
remember
the bottom line.
what you have to
There's
remember
no
is
need for
that
them to go out of their way to shut it down if it wasn't affecting their bottom line.
here's a problem.
you have to
You
remember
do
it's their
realize?
product. It doesn't
Can I
matter.
ask you this? Can
Yeah.
I say this?
Yeah.
Maybe it's on the Smash. I mean, Smash series, right?
Yeah.
Am I correct? So here's a solution. Here's two solutions. Either Nintendo bring remaster Melee, because here's the thing. They remastered what? Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U, right? Why is
Yeah.
it so difficult for them to remaster it then?
Well, it's because of various different copyright reasons. Like that's a lot of things.
Yeah,
That's a lot of things that people don't understand. It's like Japanese games are mostly restricted by like various copyright reasons. Like a lot of things go
right.
into making a Japanese video game that you don't
I can
have the
understand if
same.
it's like a game like Marvel versus Capcom where you have like Marvel
But
characters
here's
and
the thing,
shit,
like
but
even
everything
but
in the
here's the
game is
thing.
owned by Nintendo.
But
It's
he,
not like they
but no
have
no
a
no 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 no
guest
no
character like
because
Snake or
because here's
something.
that's the problem though. It's like you have all like Smash Brothers is not even made by Nintendo. It's made by Sora Studios. I know Smash Brothers Melee was made by Namco Bandai. So you really don't even
Oh
have
yeah.
that. You don't really have that. It's even that. It's like you have all of these different third party characters. It's like that's a copyright nightmare even in itself.
Well, that's for like Brawl upwards, but like in regards to Melee and Smash 64 were made by HAL Laboratories.
Right.
Brawl was the first game made by Sora, and Nintendo owns HAL Laboratories, so there's really no issue there.
Well, yeah, and then
And even
and
then,
then you have to understand that that is the music that goes into it. You have to pay those different artists. You also have to pay, different. You have to pay royalties. You have to pay a fuck ton of royalties.
does that apply to like every Nintendo game ever, or only certain Nintendo games?
That applies to pretty much certain Nintendo games. Really, if you want to rematch, why do you think that 3D All Stars came out now? It's because you can. And why do you think they're doing it limited? Because they don't want to pay a fuck ton of royalties to the original creators or
But that's their
every
own people,
developer.
so you're saying that they pay their own people,
Well,
and that's the
not
issue.
everybody that worked on those games. Not everybody that worked on those games are at the company anymore. They moved on to everybody else. They moved on
But
to other
isn't it still
studios.
wholly owned by Nintendo? Like it shouldn't matter.
Yes, but also they have to pay every time a sale is made on a game, they have to pay royalties to that specific developer.
Okay, I'm just saying I've never heard this reasoning for like any other studio
Yeah,
unless the
copy.
music was outsourced. Like for instance, with Sonic 3, the reason why you don't see Sonic 3 that much is because of the music being made by Michael Jackson and his people.
Yeah,
Right.
But like,
So
but I've never heard this for any other case.
Yeah, that
because this is Nintendo's stuff.
copyright law is very very fucking confusing.
okay, well, I'm gonna help you out on this one.
Yeah.
The only thing that Nintendo should do is this: if they're not gonna remaster the game, then here's the thing: why don't they just add a mini mode in Ultimate, where you
I
have
don't
the original 12
an entire game within a game. I don't even think that's going to be possible.
I don't think that's
I
possible
know,
either,
but
especially when you
but
have the different character play sets.
because here's the thing: they already have
Unless
some of
it's
the original
Yakuza.
characters. I know, but they already have the original game. I mean, characters, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the original characters like Mario, on and on, right? So it's not necessarily difficult. Like, the only thing they can do is like maybe we use some of the the maps that maybe already have. I mean, that's on what most likely in.
Yeah, and but you have to remember they has to revamp the entire animation system for that.
Oh yeah.
That to
So
remake
honestly, that'll take much more work than just remastering it. What
right.
you're
They
saying,
had to they
it's
had
just
to
it's a
pretty
waste
much
of time.
right. And Nintendo is
Right.
notoriously cheap in their game development.
Oh
You gotta
yeah.
remember
It's
that.
just
It
it's a
sucks,
little.
man,
That's
but
what
it's nothing more you can
Yeah.
do. You just have to suck it up and go with the flow. It's like, well, listen,
Yeah.
listen. There's always gonna be fond memories of Super Smash
So
Brothers
again,
Melee, but it's time to move on. And you know what? There's nothing stopping you from making your own Smash Brothers type game. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I know that, but yeah, I know there's certain games, but like the games like to the Melee players, it just doesn't hit like Melee. I just feel like telling them to move on is like there's people who still play older Street Fighter games and no one tells them to
true.
move on.
Yeah, but
There's still
here's the
Street
thing.
Fighter 2 tournaments to this day, and
But
no one
here's the
tells
thing
them to
is,
move on
but
or play a
here's
real Street Fighter game. Like it seems
Okay.
like a double standard to
well,
me.
it just
Question.
People play Melee for the gameplay. The gameplay is unique to that game. It's what they fell in love with. None of the other games replicate it. It's a legitimate reason to prefer that game and still play the game. And there's still new upcoming players who are like 20 years old, playing the game and getting into it and are becoming champions and stuff. It's like
Right.
you've still got people coming into the game.
Right. Question though. Let me ask this question to you. So, are you a melee player or some sort?
Well, I'm more of someone who watches it. I don't own Melee, and I played a little bit of it like on my Wii. Like I played it through like emulations, kind of like a pseudo emulation. It's called Nintendo. I played it through that means on the Wii, but I wouldn't really call myself a Melee player. But I am someone who enjoys watching Melee, and I've watched Melee documentaries,
Yeah.
and I respect the players,
And that's
in
the
the
thing.
community.
Not just not disrespecting the Kelders, but it's just the unfortunate reality we all had to accept. And I don't want to say I don't want to be a pessimist, but it's like it it's kind of seen it's kind of like a lose lose. If they remaster the game nowadays, then they're gonna have to do a limited release, and people are gonna be pissed. And let's be honest, people are gonna be pissed about it. And if we seen how what happened to the whole 3D All Star situation, right? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
Well, that situation they did upon themselves for making it limited
no,
only
but we
and
seen
kind
how
of
that
half-assing a 64 version of the game. They
yes,
did that on themselves. But if they didn't hadn't have done that, people wouldn't have had a problem.
but realistically though, okay. And the other situation is this. I mean, my solution wouldn't it be a problem? Because at the end of the day, there will be, like say said, they're cheap. They're gonna have to keep. I mean, they can upscale some textures and resolutions and stuff like that. Fine. But the problem is like the difficult side of. I mean, at this point, it's like it's kind of like a toggle. It's kind of like a lose lose. You please the fans who want the GameCube version of the game. Cool. All right. But then you have to do it limited time.
I think the biggest issue is the financial side of things. It's like they got to realistically think how many people are actually going to buy Melee, and I personally don't know. Obviously, you're going to get at least a good hundred, like a couple hundreds of people who either watch the game or spectate and might want to try and get into the game. Every single
Yeah.
Melee dude,
Yeah,
like
but
Melee,
yeah,
like
but it
person who runs the tournaments, are going to get the game because
Yeah.
they can run it on monitors. It's you don't have to move CRTs anymore. It's going to be
Yeah.
a lot easier on them. But it's like besides the hardcore Melee community, who else is going to get the game?
right.
Maybe
Exactly.
people who are want it for nostalgia. I mean, Melee is a really beloved game. You got to keep this in mind. Like even outside the competitive scene, like Melee is probably a lot of people's first Smash game. You know, and it's the Smash game that introduced a lot of the modern mechanics in every other Smash game that's present.
No, and
And
that's
there's a lot of nostalgia, similar to how people feel nostalgia for Super Mario 64, and they made a lot of money off of the All Stars collection. So it's definitely a possibility they could get huge sales from people who
what.
who, who want to relive the memories.
That's
That's
the thing.
definitely a
Like
strong possibility.
that's my point. What I'm trying to say. Like neither one of us is like trying to, it's like, oh fuck you, your nostalgia don't matter. It's like
Look,
no.
I want people to be happy and play the games they want to
Oh,
play, but at the
right.
same time, this is a business.
We need to be realistic because it's
Right.
like, how is this gonna help Nintendo in the long run?
And
How's
that's
this?
the only thing that Nintendo cares about is themselves.
Because
But if it makes the money, that is helping themselves.
Yeah, but it won't make them a lot of money. That's the thing. Like it's like okay, it's like what you said. It's like they're gonna release Smash Brothers, but realistically, who's gonna buy Melee outside of the hardcore Melee fanboys?
But that's the thing. I don't know. It could be a Super Mario 3 All Stars situation where a lot of people want to play that specific game again to relive their childhood. That's a definite possibility. But like I said, those games are kind of in a different situation because those are like they're even though they're like older games, there's like there's the worlds in Super Mario 64 aren't in like Sunshine or Galaxy. Like most of the levels in Melee are in Ultimate, and Ultimate's more catered to like a more casual audience, and it has like all these and every single character and more coming soon with DLC and stuff. So uh, aside from that, like I don't know, man.
I don't know how to
It's in
fix
a
it either,
different
but
situation than like the 3D Mario games.
I don't know how the
it's
situation is gonna end with everybody happy, but at the same time, you gotta keep it a buck, man. It's just that it is what it is. Nintendo's gonna do what Nintendo's gonna do, and
But
that could be to their benefit, but at the same time, it's like I'm not holding my breath for Nintendo to do the right thing or the wrong thing.
yeah, me either.
It's like
me
But I'll just say
you
this:
can't
I
hold your
feel
breath
like
on it.
your solution, like what you said, I just feel like I think it's unreasonable because, like I said, it's like what you said. Well, if you want to play Melee, just make your own Melee. I just think, first of all, like that will require these people who dedicate their time playing a game to now learn how to co-develop, and that takes time and resources and money.
Well,
It's like
it
that's
was
like saying somebody doesn't like a change. Like I'm a basketball player, right? Just like I'm a basketball player, and I don't like this rule set. It's like, well, if you don't like basketball, just make your own game.
well
It's like, yeah,
that's
but
a
I like
different thing.
basketball.
But here's the
But
thing
it's a
though.
different situation because being a pro gamer is different than being a game developer. It's
Well,
not the
there.
same thing.
Well, here's the thing. How do you think that most game developers become developers? They played games.
Well, I know. Well, I get it, but like
Exactly.
these people might just want to play the game and want to be competitive. It's different. It's
Well,
like
it's like if you don't like
you might.
something, you're gonna have to be proactive in it. That's what I'm trying to do. Like I don't like the crap that's coming out of the game industry now. That's why I'm trying to make my own game.
I get what you're saying, but like the same way a basketball player wants to play basketball because that's what they like. They like basketball. They don't want to create a new sport that they're not going to like, and that's like a long shot. Creating an entirely new sport. I mean, obviously that's way harder than making a new game, but you get what
Right.
I'm saying. It's like
Well, there
it's
are
different.
plenty of
Like people,
plenty of
just because you like to play games doesn't necessarily mean you're going to like
well, there are plenty of
developing a
sports
game.
fans who play the sports themselves. They go out, they play the sport themselves. So it's like that's kind of the same thing. It's like you have many people who watch professional sports, but they go out, they go into the field, they go out with their friends, and they spend a couple of hours playing the sports themselves.
So I'm gonna ask this question to you then. I mean, Ball. Then what is the solution you propose then?
Right.
I will say this. I agree with Black Sage when he said that when it comes to the fan projects, it's not smart to use Nintendo's property. I think when it comes to the whole, do you know about Metroid remake? Like the
Yeah,
what's it
the
called?
ASMR.
Another like Retroid remake or something. Another
Yeah.
Metroid 2. I don't know, something like that. You know what I'm talking about, right?
AMR too. Yeah.
That game, it was not a smart decision to use the Metroid title. They could have made a Metroid-like game that was a spiritual successor to the game they're trying to make. Like they were trying to basically make a remake of Metroid 2 on the Game Boy. They still could have made that game, just change it up a little bit, change the character models, change the enemies, and they could have made that game and made money off of it.
Right.
But
And they could have
but
sold it
they
on
didn't do that.
Nintendo. That's the thing.
They knew they weren't trying to make money off it because they know that's not legal, but they wanted to release it anyway, knowing they're not going to make money, but they still got to shut down. and I think that was a shame, and they shouldn't have done that.
Right.
And see, that's
I think
why
they should have just changed it. Similar to what they're doing. There's a company that's making a new like Mother kind of game. It's
right.
I
Right.
forgot the name of the
I
game,
forgot
but
to.
it's a game made to like in a style like the Mother games, but they were smart not to call it Mother, and they call it something else, and now they get to make money off of it and don't have to get into legal trouble with
Yeah, I think it's
Nintendo,
called
even though the game literally looks like a Mother game.
It's pretty much. I
Like
think it's called Oddity.
yeah, something like that. It
Yeah,
literally looks like a
Oddity.
Mother game. They literally could have just called it Mother Remake, and they would
It was
or
literally
Mother Fan
Mother
Project,
4,
and they
but
would have gotten that shit shut down. But
yeah,
Nintendo can't do anything because it's not Mother and it's their
and
own property,
that's
Yeah,
smart, and that's smart.
and
and
that's the
that's
thing.
why.
Yeah, that's the thing that the Smash community need to do. It's like if you got a way to make their own game, and it's not like I'm not asking for them like make 1-to-1 ratio. It's like make it have the similar kind of feel that hey, close enough
Right.
with
Yeah, I
their
get it,
own spin and their own characters. I mean, hell, for
but
fuck's sakes, they
there
can use
already are some games like platform fighters, but none of them, from what I've seen, play like Melee. Like it's not the same thing.
but
Like
the problem is
Brawlhalla ain't the same thing. The other
okay.
I forgot the other examples, but from what I've
Yeah,
seen, they're not like Melee. The way they play,
here's
it's
the
just not the
problem.
same thing. It's
Here's the
not.
problem I'm gonna ask you.
It's like a knockoff food. It's like when you want
No,
a certain burger and that's what you're craving. It's like you get a knockoff burger. It's like
okay.
it's not the burger you want.
I'm just gonna say this. But what makes Melee any special? It's a fighting game just like any other fighting game. I mean, I get it. People like Melee, but you have to realize the grim reality is that it's a fighting game just like any other fighting game. Like the only difference, I get it. People nostalgic, but you you shouldn't let you. I feel like a lot of what makes it difficult to relate is nostalgia. Like one hand, people don't want Nintendo to screw over them, but at the same time, not many people are not seeing the bigger picture.
Nostalgia
And
can
I
only
understand.
take you so much.
Yeah,
It's like people need to understand that nostalgia is just that. It's nostalgia. You have to leave it in the past. Y'all have to grow up someday, man.
no, yeah, and that's what I'm trying to say. We could like our favorite games. For fuck's sakes, me. I mean, I still like playing Naruto Ninja 2. Would I want them to rematch the games on PC nowadays? Yeah, but at the same time, I have to realize I have like what, almost 500 games on my Steam account. I have tons of games on my Steam account. I could be putting my time in, especially newer games nowadays, especially Cyberpunk coming up soon. I could be putting my time into it, and it's like you can't we can't let our nostalgia blind us from hey enjoying newer games.
Right.
And
And we can't let nostalgia drag us down to the point where we can't, make our own game. That's the thing. It's like if anything, nostalgia should give you passion to make brand new experiences for the next
right,
generation. That's where the true heart and soul of, being a creative is. You have to be a creative, you have to use your like you have many passionate people in the Smash fan base, right? So what I'm saying is why can't they have direct that same passion and that same energy into making a game that's damn near close to Smash Melee, you know, and create something worthwhile for the next generation. We got to think about that.
I honestly wish that would happen. I really do because there are some platform fighters that like are trying to be like Smash, but it's just not. It's not the kind of game they want.
Right, but
It's not the same. It's
like for
not.
example, you mentioned one in the white Brawlhalla. For example, why don't the Smash community, like the people when the melee community, can give their input to Brawlhalla? Be like, hey, this is not how you do it, and this is how you do this and do
No,
that.
but Brawlhalla is Brawlhalla. Like I don't
Yeah,
think asking the people make Brawlhalla, oh, make it like Melee. Like that's not gonna work.
right,
I
it
Brawlhalla is
has to be
Brawlhalla.
I
Don't
know
it
change
has to be
Brawlhalla,
it
but it
has to
needs to be
be
another game that is like Melee for people
right,
to just
exactly.
move on.
and it has
I mean,
to really be
yeah,
something made from scratch from the ground up.
right, and that's why I'm saying like that's what I'm trying to say. Like, find some indie developer team. Hell, know how to program, know how to code,
Know how to
know
make
how
3D models.
exactly. It's like
Yeah, like and now that I think about it, there was Project M, which was like a mod of Brawl to make it play more like Melee. why didn't they just make their own game? I know making a completely new game from scratch is a lot. It takes way more effort and it's a lot harder than just modding the game. But it's like modding isn't easy either, and it required a lot of time, and it's
Right.
not
If you know how to,
legal,
if you
and
know
you're
how
not
to,
making money off it.
if you know how to mod a game, you know pretty much how to make a game.
Honestly, I wish those people would have just made their own game.
Right.
Cause like
Make the game like Melee. Make the game you
Yeah.
want,
cause
and
you
have
know-
the characters have similar move sets to like the characters in like Melee. So have a character that plays like Fox, but
Or
then
Mario.
you know what I mean, and then add some new characters that have completely new abilities. But then again,
Exactly,
you have
and then
characters
you-
like Kirby. Like what? Let me just say, what about Kirby? Like if you have a character that sucks and does it but isn't Kirby, like do you think Nintendo can still sue them even if it's not Kirby and but they suck and they like steal powers? What do you think Nintendo could do about that?
Exactly. They can't do. They can't really do a damn thing.
and
So,
and
so you're allowed to have a character that sucks and takes powers as long as they're not like they can't do anything, or they're just like, oh, that's Kirby. They're
I
stealing
mean,
from
there's
us.
a. I mean, there are game characters that dump and jump and double jump. Is
No,
like, is that the
fucking
same with
Majin
like
Buu.
Mario? It's like,
hell, a good example, Majin Buu, for example. He sucks. I mean, he sucks. I mean,
you got. Hold on, before we say anything else, you say suck. Just say pause, okay?
All right,
Yeah, just say pause. Go on.
but yeah, I honestly wish that they just would have taken that route. Honestly, I'm really sick and tired of Nintendo shit. I just really wish the Melee players would just gather their resources, get some passionate people, make the game. Like the people made Project M, make a new game for PC, and let the people play on that. Because I'm done. They should just give up on Nintendo. Nintendo are freaking.
They're just
They,
gonna
they
do what they're
act
gonna
like
do, and
senile
that's
old men.
and
They're
that
very out of touch with their player base.
and you know what, that to their benefit, that does work. I'm not gonna lie, it's a double-edged sword to say the least. That's just me. That we don't want them
Yeah.
to end up like Sony.
no, and that's the problem. Like a lot of people, and it's a similar thing right now with Sega. Like a lot of Smash community was like, oh, why don't they be like Sega? It's like, yeah, Sega, the same company that, don't get me wrong, make great games, in fact. But when the last time they actually make their own Sonic game that's actually good?
I mean,
Without-
they already did that with like Freedom Planet and other like Sonic fan games.
That's what I'm saying. Like Freedom Planet is basically like a spiritual successor to Sonic, but they are able to
Right.
make money off it. There's no like legal
Right.
issues,
Right.
Yeah,
even
and
though it plays very similar to Sonic. Like there's still like loop de
Yeah.
loops and shit, and you run fast, but
Right.
they get to still release it,
Oh.
make money. That's what
My
the guy
point-
who made that Metroid remake should have did, but he
Right.
didn't do it.
The
I
thing
feel
is just-
sorry for him.
Right, and here's the thing. What I'm trying to say, I don't want Nintendo to be like Sega when they don't, when they have to rely on their own fans to give them ideas. Like the creators should be the ones to make the new ideas, and whether the fans like it or I mean, whether they give feedback, the fans will give feedback. Okay, this idea sucks. Okay, time for a new idea, and then whatever, because you can't pander to your fans, like, because you have old fans, you have new fans, right? Like, who are you gonna listen to? You should listen to your old fans. Okay, you're out of touch. All right, you listen to your younger fans, your newer fans, for example, right? Okay, your old fans hate this. It's a tug of war. Like you either have to
You have to
please-
compromise. That's the thing. It's all about
Yeah.
compromise. It's just that I'm with everybody. It's like I think that the Melee players, they should come together and make their own original game that that doesn't conflict with Nintendo, so they don't have to work.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily even have to be the pro players. Like Mango doesn't, or Armada don't have to make the game, but the people who made the Project M game, like mod, those people who know how to code and shit, they could put all that time and resource instead of modding another game. Also, there's also Project NX. You know Project NX, the Melee, like the mod on Ultimate to make it
Yeah.
play like Melee, and how that got shut down. Yeah,
Hmm.
get the dude who made NX, get the dudes who made Project M, get those people and put that energy into making a game and release it on Steam or something. Like
Right.
you'll never get any respect from Nintendo. Nintendo doesn't care about your passion. They're not like Sega. They don't see talent and say, "Oh," instead of like stomping on these people like they're like dirt, they
why
give
do-
them a chance.
I
like
mean-
with how they gave Christian Whitehead a chance, and you got Sonic Mania. They'll never do that. They're not smart enough. They're old fashioned.
Well, I mean, how do you
It-
think
it's
that
a waste of
Nintendo is still
time.
in the hardware business? Let's be real. It's like Nintendo got where they are not by not giving a fuck.
Right.
That's where they are, and that's why Nintendo
And
literally the last man standing.